Well, Alicia, people all over the country, including right here in Fresno, are celebrating bin Laden's death. Let me move out of the way. You can see all of these people holding American flags. Well, Ken, firefighters are still out here putting some hot spots out. Now, they do tell me that they've responded to several heat-related calls today. Well, Ken, police have confirmed one person is dead and believe this is a domestic violence incident. Take a look behind me. You can see police are still out here investigating the scene. Well, Evie, the property owner of this land, tells me that the project would run right through his cotton and cornfields. Now, he's not the only landowner upset. Well, Ken, no drugs or alcohol were involved. They were all wearing their seatbelts. They were also coming home from church. I want to warn you, though, some of the details about this accident are disturbing. New at 6, Merced County sheriffs are investigating a homicide out of Delhi. Deputies say they responded to shots fired at the 11,000 block of Griffith Avenue and Bradbury. It happened around 8 o'clock last night. The victim was pronounced dead when deputies arrived. New at 6, a health fair at Manchester Center today. It was considered a huge success. The event brought hundreds of patients and dozens of specialists together for exams at no cost. CBS 47's Tony Body is live at Manchester Center with more. Tony. Well, a disaster declaration for parts of Iowa tonight after a line of tornadoes ripped through late last night. Several homes were destroyed and several people were injured. Fortunately, no one was killed, but the storm damaged utilities in the town of Mapleton. It could be 2 weeks before gas is restored. Well, turning to weather here in the valley, the sun is out, but it's a bit windy. Here's a live look at our Fresno Skyview camera. Jenny Toasty joins us now with our first look at the pinpoint forecast. There was a car crash overnight on Bulldog Lane near Fresno State. The driver says her car rolled after she swerved to miss a person walking in the roadway. Luckily, though, she didn't have any injuries. But check out how the tow truck driver got the car upright. It almost falls off the truck and back onto the road. Police say alcohol was not a factor. 26 children and a bus driver were on this school bus when they were kidnapped July 15th, 1976. I talked to a man who was just 6 years old at the time and who says he's had 34 years of haunted memories. A small yellow school bus sits parked in a Merced museum, forgotten to most. It's a grim reminder of a decades-old crime that stole childhoods and changed lives forever.
Just remembering how small I was the last time I was on this bus, and knowing that, you know, it was a ride that changed my life forever.
Larry Parks was in elementary school. It's been years since he's climbed aboard this bus. He agreed to sit down with CBS 47 to relive the terror of that hot summer day back in 1976. That's when he, along with 26 other children, boarded that bus after a day of summer school, but they never made it home.
All I could pay attention to were these guns that they were holding.
As the children and bus driver headed home, 3 masked gunmen burst on board and hijacked the bus with kids. Parks was sitting in the seat behind the driver. A gunman told him to move to the back of the bus.
This is where my sister was sitting, and I chose to sit beside her. So we held hands. It was the last time in 34 years that we've ever held hands.
News coverage from the 70s. Suddenly, Chowchilla was making headlines across the country. The bus was gone, along with the children. It had disappeared without a trace. Ed Bates was sheriff at the time. It was his responsibility to head up the investigation.
We instituted a search and couldn't find the bus anywhere. Then obviously it was a severe situation.
After hours of searching, the bus was located in a drainage ditch 9 miles west of Chowchilla, but no sign of the kids. They had been forced into vans driven for 11 hours to Livermore before being forced into a hot and almost airless underground chamber.
I was left in that pit, and there was no one there to come back for me. So yeah, in my mind, we were left there to die.
The kidnappers were after money. A ransom note demanding $5 million was found, but no one paid. The suspects had disappeared, leaving the children and bus driver buried underground. After it became certain the kidnappers were not returning, the bus driver and some of the older children made a break for it.
If they hadn't have escaped, they would have died.
That time underground changed Larry. Even though Larry Parks made it out alive, he says part of him remains below ground.
I was never able to crawl out of that pit with my soul. My body got out, but my soul was stuck.
In the 3 decades since the kidnapping, Larry has spent time behind bars, going from job to job, trying to come to terms with what happened that day, back in 1976. He looks at the plaque that sits in front of Chowchilla Police Department, honoring him and the other victims. He tells me revisiting this nightmare may have set him free.
Maybe today will be an ending of 34 years of psychosis. It's like I'm facing it down, you know. I'm on it, and it's not going to happen again. And it's, you know, hopefully I can walk off of it feeling liberated.
36 hours after being kidnapped, the children escaped and were found. About a month later, August 22nd, 1976, the kidnappers were caught. In Merced County, Brittney Hopper, CBS 47, on your side. Well, Evie, the property owner of this land, tells me that the project would run right through his cotton and cornfields. Now, he's not the only landowner upset.
You know, people go to the grocery store, they buy their groceries, and then they go home. They don't really think about a lot where it comes from.
John Toledo is a third-generation farmer, land that's been in his family for decades. He says the $43 billion project would stop production on his farm.
This valley feeds a lot of people, not just around here, but across the world.
The high-speed rail project would have tracks in Fresno through Bakersfield, running through Kings County farmlands. It would also be slicing through several dairy farms that generate millions of dollars in annual milk production.
I have 3 dairy facilities. It splits my cows in half. Half the cows are on the east side, half are on the west side.
But many people are in favor of the high-speed rail coming through the Central Valley, saying it will generate thousands of jobs locally and increase the regional economy. Representatives with the high-speed rails say they understand there will be an impact to agriculture, but they say only 4,000 acres of land between Merced and Bakersfield will be impacted.
We're talking about a 0.06% of ag land that will be impacted. So I think we need to keep that in context.
How much it's going to cost to run the darn thing.
For some of these landowners, they would be compensated for the land that's taken from them. But for John Toledo, he says it's not worth losing family history.
Hopefully it stays in the family and continues on. You know, that's what we hope for.
Now, the project would start construction in 2012. Live in Hanford, Brittney Hopper, CBS 47, on your side. Well, Ken, it's something we do on a daily basis. Take a picture with a cell phone and post it on TwitPic. But now with new features such as GPS, the wrong person could be getting information you don't want them knowing. It's called geotagging, and it has the potential for strangers to track you all the way to your front door.
When you have 2 small children, knowing that they could have an electronic device that others could potentially access their whereabouts, as a parent, it is scary.
And that's why police are trying to get out a very important warning, especially to parents.
As fast as technology is moving and the things that people have to exploit it, yeah, I see it being a danger, and that's why we're concerned. That's why we're trying to get the message out.
Here's an example. Here's a picture of my dog. I post it on TwitPic along with a message saying, "Louie in my bedroom." With geotagging, anyone can look up its metadata. The metadata gives you all sorts of information, from what time the picture was taken to its longitude and latitude. When you put the longitude and latitude into Google Maps, bam, you have my location.
If the GPS coordinates are in there and they took it when they were in their bedroom or whatever, they'd be able to figure out exactly where they are.
But all it takes is a few clicks to undo the feature. Here we showed this dad on his smartphone. Now every smartphone has the geotagging feature automatically set to operate. So by disabling it on your iPhone, go to Settings, then General, then Location Services. Go to the camera option and select Off. This turns the geotagging off on your phone.
Be aware of what your kids are doing, be involved in their life.
Now, if you have a BlackBerry or a different type of phone, it's a little different to disable it. Also, if you have a digital camera, it too may have geotagging. Live in the newsroom, Brittney Hopper, CBS 47 on your side. Well, Evie, many followers have changed their lives, believing the world will end tomorrow at 6 p.m. May have seen the billboard in Fresno or these trucks driving through valley towns. And we did show you believers handing out religious pamphlets at a local Walmart. Now the time has come. Saturday, May 21st at 6 p.m. is Judgment Day, according to this man.
There's going to be a huge earthquake.
98-year-old Harold Camping is a religious leader and radio host. He broadcasts out of Oakland and can be heard in 48 different languages around the globe. Camping believes the world will end tomorrow, and so do many other followers around the world. Camping's family radio network has spent up to $1 million on Judgment Day advertising.
He's not spending his own money, mind you. He's spending money that's been sent to family radio by people who have believed this lie.
I caught up with believer Ken Ronning from Fresno a couple months ago. Today, he's on the streets of Los Angeles, doing everything he can to spread Camping's message.
We want people to know that there's still time, a few hours left.
But not all are believers.
No one knows the day, time when Jesus Christ is coming back.
Now, Camping made the same prediction in 1994, that the world was going to end. And of course, we all know how that turned out. Live in Fresno, Brittney Hopper, CBS 47 on your side.